Why did you get into journalism?
Curiosity. Why'd you get into it?
You.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you my friend, Dan Rather.
I'm the producer. I put the team together. We have Lucy Scott to run point. Colonel Roger Charles worked Abu Ghraib for us. Mike Smith was a researcher for us back in 2000.
What's our next move?
I might have something for the election.
The President of the United States may have gone AWOL from the military.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a new movie that's coming out called Truth, and it's anything but the truth, according to many. Kyle Smith, columnist and film critic for the New York Post, is here. Hello, Kyle. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
You know, Robert Redford plays Dan Rather, and we have Kate, what's her name, Blanchett, playing Mary Mapes, who was Dan Rather's producer, who came up with this whole Bush went AWOL story, which was disproven. They apologized for it. Everybody wound up getting fired, and now it's being rewritten as it was true.
Yeah, I mean, I think a more accurate title for this movie would have been Balderdash or maybe Horsepucky. The movie's based on...
Buggy?
Horsepucky?
Pucky, okay.
This movie's all about the forged documents that were clearly shown to be forged, that were put on the air on 60 Minutes 2 in the fall of 2004 in a transparent effort to discredit George W. Bush's claims of having served honorably in the National Guard in Texas and also in Alabama. They claimed, based on no evidence whatsoever, that he was AWOL. In fact, two of his superior officers said he was an excellent officer. Moreover, he volunteered to fly in Vietnam, but they just couldn't find a slot for him.
So how is it? I mean, this is based on Mapes' memoir, which was called Truth and Duty. But how is it that Hollywood embraces this, accepts this? A guy like Redford gets involved in this, and they make this. Is this an attempt, a pure attempt to rewrite history, in your view?
I think so. It's embarrassing for Robert Redford. 40 years ago, he's doing All the President's Men. He just doesn't see the difference between Bob Woodward and Dan Rather. Dan Rather put on the air documents that not only hadn't been authenticated, but two of CBS's own experts raised issues with them, and they're almost immediately discredited by various experts who blogged about them and wrote stories about them for other outlets like ABC News.
And remind people what the aftermath of this was. I mean, although they were disgraced, Mapes and Rather, the industry, though, if I'm not mistaken, basically celebrated, gave a big party or awards dinner or something for Rather at the time, didn't they?
Well, I think that was before the events depicted in this movie. That's actually the first scene in the movie. But 8 people lost their jobs.
Yeah.
Mapes was actually flat out fired. Rather was sort of eased out, not quite fired. And then he later sued CBS for breach of contract, basically, which is a completely ridiculous charge for him to make, and the suit was laughed out of court, just like this movie's going to be laughed out of theaters.
Well, I hope it is laughed out of theaters. That's what it should be. All right, let's move on and let's talk about Donald Trump. What's your take? By the way, this election, whether it stops right now, whether Trump drops out tomorrow, or whether he goes on to win the presidency or something in between, is this a future movie?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a lot of comedy and drama there. There's outsized personalities. Yeah, I don't know who would star as Donald Trump.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, that was my next question. Who you might see as Donald Trump?
Christian Bale? I don't know. I mean, he had interesting hair in American Hustle. Pretty good actor. I think what the key to Trump is that a lot of his policy positions don't really make any sense, and they're not necessarily appealing to conservative Republicans in the first place, but just that he's angry, just that he's mad as hell and he doesn't want to take it anymore, and he's tapped into a vein of total disgust with what's going on in Washington.
Well, between him and Carson and Fiorina, just about in every state and in every national poll, they represent 60% of the total votes that are tallied, and then you got career politicians who in any other election season would figure would be up there, Bush or Rubio or Walker, who dropped out, or any of them. They're nowhere.
Yeah. The poll shows something like 65% of Americans think we're heading in the wrong direction.
Well, yes, and that's a problem for Hillary, because she's going to embrace Obama, she said, but only make it even, do even more.
She was going to go farther than Obama.
Yeah,
she said that twice at the debate there. I want to go farther than Obama. I think that's exactly not the mood of the American people. Maybe it is of the Democratic Party, but the people in general are really, really annoyed.
And as far as Hillary goes, we've heard all kinds of talk about Hollywood donors, not getting all in. They're a little hesitant. And where do you think the elites fall in on Hillary now? I mean, plenty have come out in favor of her, especially women, facing this FBI investigation. Now we hear today that the FBI is looking into a specific violation of the Espionage Act. Are they holding back? Or they still have questions about her?
Well, I think they've been sort of dragging their feet a little bit. wondering if someone else can come along with the
A
exact
Biden.
same positions, basically the same positions Biden has, only without any trace of corruption. I mean, no one's ever said Biden's a dishonest guy. No one's ever said he's a sleazy character. He may have other problems, but
He has
he's
lots
a
of
generic Democrat who is of strong character, as far as we know.
Yeah. And who would play Biden in a movie?
Let's see, he's 70-something actor. I don't know.
All right, you will think of it. Next appearance, we will hear from Kyle Smith, who will play Joe Biden in the movie. All right, thank you, Kyle. Great to see you. And don't forget to read him in the New York Post, folks, newyorkpost.com, for those of you out of area. Up next, the author of We Cannot Be Silent will be here. Very important book. Don't miss it. We're coming back.